Millionaire saw little boy selling candy for his sick mom. What she does next will melt your heart. A millionaire stopped for traffic and saw a barefoot toddler standing on a concrete block, selling melted candy to save his dying mother. One cracked whisper, "My mama's sick," shattered her world. What happened next turned heartbreak into hope and a stranger's kindness into a family's miracle. Before we dive in, let us know in the comments what time is it and where are you watching from. Let's start. Evelyn Hart had survived boardrooms full of liars, investors who pretended to care, and charity partners who used the poor like props. But nothing exhausted her the way today had. Her voice was still shaking from arguing with men twice her size who told her, "Evelyn, emotion makes you weak. Donations are branding. Don't complicate it." She walked out before she started screaming. She hated that world. She hated that money could solve everything and nothing at the same time. She sat in her blue sedan, rubbing her forehead, whispering, "Why am I even doing this anymore? Who am I helping?" Traffic slowed on the narrow road ahead. She groaned, thinking it was construction again. But as her car rolled forward, something small moved in her peripheral vision. So small, she almost missed it. Between two parked blue cars, a tiny child stood on a concrete block. A barefoot little black boy around 2 or 3, his light brown shirt stained with street dust, blue shorts torn at the edges, toes pressed painfully against the rough surface. Around his neck hung a crooked wooden candy box with frayed string. His curls were wild, his face sweaty, his lower lip trembling. He lifted his little hand toward her window as she approached. She blinked. What in the world? He wasn't begging. He wasn't crying. He was trying to sell candy, not for toys, not for himself, but because his mother was dying in a tin shack. Evelyn rolled her window down an inch. The heat from outside slapped her face, but the boy only leaned forward, tiny chest rising fast as if he'd been walking all day. His voice came out small and cracked. "Candy, ma'am, please. My mama's sick." Evelyn froze. His cheeks were streaked with dried tears. His hands shook from hunger. This tiny boy looked like he had been trying to be strong for hours, his eyes too tired for a child who should still be learning colors and shapes. Evelyn whispered, "Sweetheart, where are your parents? Who let you—" But he cut her off, as if afraid she would not listen. "Mama sleep long time. Sisters say we need money. I work." Evelyn's heart snapped in half. "You work?" she echoed, her voice cracking. He nodded earnestly, holding up one sticky piece of candy with both hands like it was something precious. "Good one. You take, please? Mama need medicine." She covered her mouth with her palm, the same way the woman in the image is doing, exactly that expression. A sting of tears flooded her eyes. The boy misunderstood, panicking. Sorry, don't cry. You can have it. Look, look." He shook the candy gently, trying to make it more appealing, desperate for her to stop crying. That destroyed her. Evelyn threw her door open and stepped out of her car without thinking. Drivers honked, swerved, shouted, but she didn't hear any of it. She crouched down to the boy's eye level and said gently, "Baby, where is your mother?" He pointed down the road with a trembling hand. "She no wake up. Sister trying, but she cry a lot." Evelyn swallowed a sob. How long has she been sick? He frowned, trying to count on his tiny fingers. Many sleeps. He didn't even know what day meant. He just knew his mother wasn't waking, and he was out here, barefoot, exhausted, starving, trying to save her. Evelyn's voice turned sharp, angry, not at him but at the world. "Where is your father, your family, anyone?" He shook his head. "No, Papa." Her chest tightened painfully. She reached out slowly, afraid of scaring him. "What's your name, sweetheart?" The boy held his candy box nervously, like it was the only thing keeping him brave. "Milo." Evelyn whispered it like a prayer. "Milo. Honey, you been out here alone?" He nodded again. "Sisters say be brave, but my feet hurt." He lifted one foot slightly. The underside was red, scraped, swollen from walking barefoot on hot pavement. Evelyn's jaw clenched in horror. She whispered, "God, who let this happen?" He tugged at her sleeve softly. "You buy candy? Please. Then Mama get better." Evelyn's eyes overflowed. She grabbed the candy gently, placed it in her palm like a wounded bird. "Yes, yes, Milo. I'll buy all of them, every single one." Milo's eyes widened in shock. "All? You want all?" "Yes, sweetheart." Her voice broke. "But first, show me your mother." For a second he hesitated, scared she might disappear if he turned away. Then he reached out and grabbed her finger, his whole hand barely wrapping halfway around it. "Come," he whispered. "Don't leave." The words stabbed her. "I won't. I promise." She followed him down the road as he limped on his sore feet. He walked with determination far too big for his tiny body. Every few steps he looked back to make sure she was still there. When they reached the broken shack behind a mechanic shop, Evelyn felt her stomach twist. Inside, an 8-year-old girl knelt beside a woman lying on blankets. The woman's lips were cracked, her breathing shallow. Sweat soaked her hair. The girl was crying quietly, dipping a cloth into a bowl of brownish water and pressing it to her mother's forehead. Milo ran to her. "Mama, I bring help. I bring nice lady. She buy all candies." The mother opened her eyes halfway, saw Evelyn, and tried to sit up, embarrassed, terrified, apologizing. "I'm sorry. My son, he shouldn't bother strangers. I just need a little time." She collapsed mid-sentence. Evelyn didn't hesitate. "Get up," she said firmly, lifting the woman with surprising strength. "We're going to the hospital, now." The sister sobbed in relief. Milo grabbed Evelyn's sleeve again, whispering, "Please save Mama, please." Evelyn looked down at his tiny tear-stained face and said, "I won't let anything happen to her. You hear me? Nothing." As she tried to carry the mother toward her car, ignoring honking horns and strangers staring, Evelyn realized something. All her money, all her charities, all her meetings, none of it had ever reached a child like Milo. But today, one little boy standing on a concrete block had reached her, and she wasn't going to let go. Evelyn wasn't going to let go. Not of Milo's shaking hand, not of the older girl's terrified eyes, and not of the unconscious mother slipping in and out of breath. But as she rushed toward the car, something cracked violently inside her. Not fear, but guilt. Guilt that she had donated millions, yet somehow failed to see a tiny barefoot boy selling candy alone under the sun. Guilt that she sat in boardrooms arguing about impact reports, while children like Milo fought to survive. Guilt that she had money to change lives, but hadn't been looking in the right direction. When she reached the car, she tried to lift the mother, but her arms immediately buckled. The woman's limp weight collapsed against her. "God, come on, please!" Evelyn grunted, slipping her hands under the mother's arms. She wasn't strong enough to carry her, so she dragged her forward, inch by inch, breath sharp, knees trembling. The little girl rushed behind, pushing gently, Milo held his mother's legs, crying, "Mama, wake up! Wake up!" Together, three frightened strangers, they pulled her far enough for Evelyn to brace her against the seat and lower her inside. Evelyn slammed the door and whispered shakily, "You should have seen them earlier, Evelyn. You should have seen them. What good is money if you miss the child right in front of you?" She drove like a woman possessed. At the hospital, nurses yanked the doors open. "Severe fever, possible infection." "She's dehydrated, get an IV. Heart rate unstable, move!" They lifted the mother onto a gurney. Milo screamed, "Mama, no, Mama!" He tried to run after her, but Evelyn grabbed him tightly. "Milo, Milo, listen to me!" Her voice cracked. "They're helping her. You saved her by bringing me. Do you hear me? You saved her." "No," he sobbed. "I late. Mama's sick because I late." Her heart shattered. "You were the only one who did something," she whispered fiercely. "Adults walked past you. I walked past you. But you fought for her." The older sister wiped her face with trembling hands. "I tried to help. I didn't know what else to do." Evelyn cupped her cheeks gently. "You did more than most grown people would. You kept her alive." Hours dragged by. Evelyn didn't leave their side. She didn't check emails. She didn't answer calls. She stared at the floor, tears burning. How many Milos have I ignored? How many mothers were dying while I talked about annual budgets? Her guilt grew heavier than the mother she struggled to pull into the car. Finally, a doctor approached. "She's stable. The infection was severe, but we caught it in time. Another day, and she might not have made it." Milo froze. She live?" "Yes," the doctor said softly. "She'll live." Milo didn't cheer. He collapsed into Evelyn's lap, exhausted sobs shaking his tiny body. The sister leaned against her too, crying silently. Evelyn wrapped her arms around both children, whispering, "I'm here. I'm not going anywhere." When the mother finally woke, her eyes fluttered toward Evelyn sitting beside her bed. Why are you helping us?" she whispered weakly. Evelyn swallowed painfully. "Because I should have helped sooner." The mother blinked. "I didn't want my children begging." "They weren't begging," Evelyn said sharply. "They were surviving, and people, including me, looked away." A tear slid down the mother's cheek. "No one ever stops. No one ever sees us." "I'm seeing you now," Evelyn whispered, voice breaking, "and I'm not looking away again." Over the next days, Evelyn stayed through every step of recovery. She bought proper clothes, real meals, books, toys, and warm blankets. Milo giggled when she washed his scraped feet. "No more hurt today?" he asked shyly. "No more hurt," she promised. When the mother was discharged, Evelyn moved them into a small rental home, clean, safe, with a real bed for each child. "Why do all this?" the mother whispered, overwhelmed. "Because this," Evelyn said softly, touching Milo's cheek, "is where my money should have gone from the beginning. Not to meetings, not to speeches, to you, to people who need it." She enrolled the sister in school. She hired a nurse to check on the mother. She stocked the kitchen full of meals. And she visited almost every day, unwilling to let guilt fade into forgetfulness. One afternoon, Milo tugged her sleeve. "You know forget us, right?" Evelyn knelt, pulling him into her arms so tight she trembled. "Never," she whispered. "Not in this lifetime." The mother watched from the doorway, tears glistening. "Miss Evelyn, you saved my children." Evelyn shook her head, voice breaking. "No, your little boy saved me. He reminded me what real charity is." And as Milo hugged her with his tiny arms, Evelyn finally understood. real kindness wasn't in donations, speeches, or boardrooms. It was in stopping the car. It was in seeing a child. It was in not looking away. If this story moved you, don't just scroll away, like the video. Comment your thoughts and subscribe for more powerful, true-to-life tales. Moments like this remind us how one choice can save a family. But if you were the one driving past that little boy that day, would you have stopped